the single greatest determinant of whether a country is violent within itself or whether a country will use military violence against another country, the single greatest determinant is not poverty, it is not lack of natural resources, it is not religion, it is even not degree of democracy. It is violence against females. That is the single greatest indicator of every other form of violence. Now, that is not because female life is any more valuable than male life. Absolutely not. But it is because in the 5% of human history that has been devoted to controlling reproduction and therefore controlling women's bodies, violence and control towards females has become the first form of violence and control we encounter in our families, in the streets, in our cultures, and the one that normalizes all other forms. And we, I think, must really look at this seriously now. We must understand that gender comes from trying to control reproduction, that racism is dependent, and caste and ethnicity and all of this are dependent on controlling reproduction. We really need to understand it because we have reached a point that I think we have never seen before, as far as I know, and that is that females are no longer half the human race. There are so many areas in which there is a son surplus and a daughter deficit because of female infanticide, because of not feeding females, because of all the reasons that you understand. There is such a huge market in sex trafficking, and the average life expectancy of a sex traffic, and sometimes young men as well. The life expectancy is very, very, very short. And we have to look at it in our own country, where of course we have sex trafficking, and incidentally where we produce customers for sex trafficking. In India, 25% of the customers come from this country. It's always rich to poor and so on. So we need to look at that and really examine our own country too. For instance, by FBI statistics, which might be conservative, I don't know, if you add up all the women who have been murdered by their husbands and boyfriends since 9/11, and then you take all the people who were killed in 9/11 and all the Americans killed in Afghanistan and Iraq, more women have been killed by their husbands and boyfriends in this country than those three figures added together. I mean, because, in this, men, first of all, most men are not violent, but those who get hooked on the idea of masculinity as control become addicted to it. And as we know, a woman is most likely to be murdered at the moment at which she is about to leave or about to escape, because she is escaping control. It is the illness of these roles, of the very idea that we would have to prove our gender instead of being unique individual human beings. It is the lack of democracy in the home that keeps us from having democracy outside the home.